So after an hour, your DNA should have separated enough for you to be able to see it in the gel. So we're going to first stop the current, and then we're going to take our gel out of our tank, and we're going to move it back into our handy dandy glass dish, and we're going to stain it with crystal violet, which is a stain that will stick to the DNA and will hopefully enable us to see where the DNA wound up in our gel. So in order to stop the current, the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to disconnect our electrodes from the power supply. So because it's the easiest thing for you to see, I'm going to disconnect the red wire from the batteries. So I'm just going to take that and I'm going to disconnect it. And you'll notice that when you do that, the bubbling at the electrode stops. Okay, so you're no longer making oxygen and hydrogen gas at your electrodes, and there's no longer any current that's driving your DNA through the gel. Okay, so now it's safe. There's no electricity running through the gel. If you want to be super safe, you can disconnect your black wire from the other electrode. I'm going to just stick my hand in there and grab my gel. You'll notice that the solution is kind of warm. Okay, so when those charged ions are moving through that solution, the resistance that some materials have to that electrical current cause things to warm up. All right, so it's easier to see both the blue dye and the pink dye once you've taken them out of the tank. So I'm going to kind of see if I have a white piece of paper here that I can hold up behind it so that you can see. All right, so you should be able to see now sort of the blue dye line a little better and the purple dye. All right, so again, those are just dye molecules. They're called tracking dyes so that we could see that things were moving through the gel. But what we want now is to have something that will stain our DNA. We want to use crystal violet. So in your kit, there's something labeled violet stain. You're going to want that. And you're going to want 50 milliliters of water. So I was just using my small beaker here. And I'm going to pour that over my gel. And that was not a good idea because I had to add the stain. I should have mixed the stain first into the water, then poured it over. But you know what? This is science. We work around things when we make little goofs, and this isn't going to make much of a difference. So I need to put 10 drops of my violet stain. And so I'm just going to take a pipette and I'm going to put 10 drops in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And it's very cool when you drip it in. It makes these kind of neat patterns. So, but we want that to be mixed in well, okay? So again, this is kind of very full, but you can gently swirl until all of that stain is sort of mixed in and you have sort of an evenly dyed purple solution. You know, or if you're smarter than me, you can mix the stain into the water before you pour it over your gel. Okay. All right. So we're going to leave our DNA in the stain for at least 15 minutes. And we can just leave it in there until you see your DNA bands appearing. They should appear as purple lines on the gel. So I'm going to just leave my DNA in the stain there. And again, you know, just make sure that the solution is sort of evenly mixed and the purple is evenly mixed throughout your solution. Okay, so we'll come back in 15 minutes and see what my gel looks like.